Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Susan. Thank you for clicking in on today's video. Today's video is the second video in my series, Mature Beauty 101. The first video I uploaded was my skincare recommendations for mature skin. This video, we're going to be targeting the eyes, and that means applying makeup to the eyes so that we're combating our crepey lids. We're combating or overcoming some hooded lids, and I'm going to show you more tips and tricks on how to apply makeup to those problem hoods, to those problem lids, and how to create a nice look for every day that's simple and easy. So this video is going to be not about product necessarily, but more about technique. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is the brows. And I'm just going to put my hair back here and get that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tackle the brows. So basically, when you're doing your brows, you want to make sure that when you're filling them in, you're lifting the brow a little bit. That helps give height to the eyes. It makes the eyes seem a little less, droopy. And so what we're going to start with is an eyebrow pencil. Now, I like to use a fine eyebrow pencil versus a wider one. And my favorite eyebrow pencil is the Benefit Precisely My Brow. So let's talk about now how to shape the brows. So I'm going to use my handheld mirror here. So what you want to do is you want to hold your pencil up alongside your nostril here, like so. And this will tell you where your brow should begin. Now this isn't a new trick. This has been around a while, but it's very handy. And what I do is I take and I draw a little line. You see that little line there? Then you take the pencil, again leaving it at the up against the nostril, and then you're going to hold it to the outside of the colored part of your eye and make a line. That's where your arch should be. And then again, keeping the pencil up against the nostril, and then you hold it out to the edge, and that's where your brow should end. Can you see those 3 marks I made? So now what we're going to do is we're going to outline. I find outlining the brow first really helps because then once you get the shape down, you just have to fill it in. And I'm going to show you some great products and techniques on filling in the brow. So now using the same pencil, now what I'm going to do is, now I might have to hold my mirror up close, but starting where that first line is here, and I'm going to start drawing back like so till I hit that second line. Okay, can you see that? Then where that line is, now I'm going to start bringing that line down. And it's going to go only as far as where that third mark is. Can you see that? So then we're going to start on the top, and we're going to start tracing the top of the brow to that second line. And then from there, you're going to bring it down just to that third line. Okay? So now you've got the shape of your brow. What you can do is take a Q-tip and just get rid of any of that extra brow pencil that you made, where you've made your marks, if you've made them like me long. I did that specifically for this video, but normally you wouldn't make them that big. But just it comes right off. And then again, with the pencil, I'm going to just fill that in. And I'm just drawing it in, filling in that space. And I'm just rounding off that bit of a sharpness there, so I'm just rounding that off a little bit. Now for the tail of your brow, you know, it's okay to just fill it in like this. But for the head, what you want to do is the little head, the front of the brow here, you want to go in upward strokes, like right here where that line is. Oh, the way in which the brow hairs grow, like so. Okay, so there's the shape there. It's all filled in. I'm going to take the spoolie of my brow pencil and just blend that in, like so. You've got a very natural brow. It's got a nice lift to it. And then what I like to do is I like to go in with the microfilling pen. This is also from Benefit. If you haven't tried this, it's really good. I've tried the ones that have one tip, like a liquid eyeliner, the Urban Decay Brow Blade, I believe it's called. I did try that. I used it up, but I said, no, I want something with 3 prongs. It looks more natural. And some people like the 1 prong. I happen to like the 3. So when you open it up, you can see there's 3 little prongs there. And what I do is I hold it like so, and I start here, and I just drag it up. And what I love about this is it just gives the appearance of brow hair and makes it look so incredibly natural. Look at that. I think that looks so nice. And then I go in with my clear brow gel, and this is the Benefit 24-hour brow setter, and I just brush it up into the brows. And what this does is this keeps the brow hair all nice and in order. And then the last thing I do for brows is I go in with the Benefit High Brow Glow pencil. And this is what it looks like. It's this pretty champagne-y, shimmery sort of product. And basically all I do is I just draw it right underneath the arch of the brow, like so. And then I take it down just a little bit. And then what it does is gives such a nice shimmer under the arch, again, which is helping to lift the lid. And I use this versus a shimmery shadow. I have used shimmery shadows under there many times, and I still do, but I've really gotten into this sort of routine, and I really like how that looks. So there you go. That's how I do my brows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other brow, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got both brows done. So now let's move on to shadow. What I like to use on my mature clients are neutral tones, lots of mattes, but it's really beautiful to have a shimmer on the mobile lid. So that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to do some nice mattes to start out with, and then we're going to add a beautiful shimmer to the lid. And we don't need to add a shimmer under the brow because we've got that gorgeous glow from that high brow glow pencil. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start off and we're going to add a transition shade to the lid. And we're going to put this shade all over the lid and up into the crease. And then we're going to move in with a little bit of a darker shade. And for today, we're using just 3 shades of shadow. We're going to use our transition shade. We're going to use our crease shade to darken up the crease, and we're going to use a little bit of a shimmer on the lid. And then we'll move into the rest of the eye makeup. So I'm starting off with a fluffy brush. This is the e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender. And I'm going to pick up a really pretty nude tone. Now the palette I'm using today is the Natasha Denona Glam palette, which looks like this. Lots of great neutrals. This is a beautiful palette for like brides and for everyday looks. So this is the palette we're going to use, and I'm going to pick up the shade that says Transition right here on my e.l.f. Fluffy blending brush. You want to be sure and tap off any extra to prevent any fallout, because I've got my face makeup and lips done, but I don't want fall down, because then to clean it up would be a pain. It could interfere with the foundation. And then we're going to take it. Now, I don't have necessarily crepey lids. So for me, just a nice windshield wiper motion is fine. And again, I'm dusting it along. Now, however, if you have crepey lids, a tip is, what you want to do is you want to lift your lid. Okay, makeup artists like myself, we kind of lift right below the brow. Okay, what you want to do if you have crepey lids is using your index finger, you want to really lift, get in there and lift that lid, and if you have to use your middle finger, you use that as well. And then you're going to just do it in a downward motion. Because that's going to do is that's going to counteract the crepiness on your lid, going in a downward motion. If you go back and forth on a crepey lid, the shadow is going to skip, and you're going to see an uneven coating of shadow on the lid. So again, using your finger and your middle finger if necessary, really lift that lid. And you're going to go in a downward motion to add your shadow, your transition shade. Okay? So we have our transition shade down. Now let's go in to a deeper shade. As where I have heavily hooded eyes, you can see when you look on, you can just see the bare sliver of my mobile lid. So what we're going to do is, on me, I'm going to start in my natural crease and bring it up to create a shadow here so that hood recesses. And so to do that, I'm going to go in with the next shade down. And this one here is called Crease. And that's the one I'm going to pick up. And this is a Morphe M506. It's just a small tapered blending brush. And I'm going to pick some of that up, tap off the excess. Now for me, I'm going to start in my natural crease and then bring it up. Now you don't necessarily have to add more shadow to your brush. Just use what's on your brush. Now, do you see that? Okay. That's what we want. Then, in order to create that outer V, I'm going to take just a bit more, dust off the excess, and I'm going to take and I'm going to drag that down like this. Again, if you've got crepey lids, always go in a downward motion, because what you want to do is create that outer V with that darker shade right over your transition shade. Okay, do you see that? Do you see that little V I've got drawn? Okay, then you're going to go back into your fluffy brush that you used with your transition shade, picking up no more shadow, and you want to give that a nice blend. You always want to blend, blend, blend. You don't want to see any sharp lines. The only time you want to see a sharp line of one color into the next is when you're doing something specifically on purpose like that. Sometimes I like to use 3 different shades of liner, and I like to see the how the shadow goes one shade to the next. Most of the time you want a very gradient look. Now this is a simple everyday eye makeup look that I'm doing. Okay, so now you're just really blending that out, and again, you don't need to worry about any shadow under the brow because you've got that highbrow glow that's under there. You can still see that shimmer under there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with a flat shader brush. And this one is a Japanesque flat shader brush. This one I've had for years and years. And I'm going to go into this shade here. It says Center Eyelid. This is a beautiful taupey shimmery shade right there. And I'm going to go into that shade. And in my case, I can just go left to right because I don't have crepey lids. Okay, but if you have crepey lids, you always want to go, again, in a downward motion. So again, taking your fingers and holding up that lid, and again, you're going to bring it in. You can even do a patting motion, but really to blend, go in a downward motion like this. Okay, do you see that? Look at how pretty that is. Oh, that's such a pretty color. You know, there we go. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this shade as well. I know I said I was only going to use 2 shades, but you see this one right here? That's so pretty, and it's called Inner Corner. I want to try that on my inner corner. So I'm just going to go in and dust that. Oh, that is pretty. And I'm just dusting that in the inner corner. And then I'm taking that flat shader brush. And by the way, that was just a pencil brush. That's my Sigma Pencil E30 brush that I was just using to apply the inner shade. And then with nothing else on my flat shader, I'm just going to blend the one into the other. Now, look at that. Look at how pretty that is. It's so pretty. All right, I'm going to do the other eye, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Both the eyes are done. So now to finish off under the eye, I'm going to go back to my pencil brush. And again, this is my Sigma E30 pencil brush. So I'm back. Both my eyes are done. Now let's work under the eyes. So I'm going to go in with that pencil brush, my Sigma E30, and I'm going to pick up that shade that was called Crease on my pencil brush, tapping off the excess, and then I'm just going to dust that right under the eye. One thing you want to avoid if you have mature lids is you want to avoid using dark liner unless you have the skin tone to pull it off. If you do, then go for it. Use a little dark liner if you wish. But I like to stay away from dark liner. When I apply makeup to my mature clients, I don't use a dark liner. I always use the mid-toned matte shadow that's in the eyeshadow palette that I'm currently using. So basically that's all we're going to do for underneath, and then I like to bring that up to meet the shadow in the V. Now, one thing that I want to mention to you, when you're applying shadow for your outer V, make sure that outer V is in an upward motion, okay? If you draw it so that it's straight across and then down, it can make the eye look more droopy. So you want to steer clear of that. Always bring everything upward. So, okay, so that's the shadow now. I love that palette. Again, this is the Natasha Denona, what is this called? The Glam palette. And this is, I think this is great for anybody. Anyone can use that shadow. Okay, so now moving on to the inner rim. I find that for me, I like to use a nude tone pencil in the inner rim. I think it brightens and I think it opens the eye and it makes the white of your eyes seem nice and white. This particular pencil is from Benefit. This is the Roller Eye Bright pencil. And this is what it looks like. It's just a nude tone. And so basically all I do is I take it and I just run it right there you go. And just a little nude tone there. It just kind of brightens up the eyes. If your eyes are sensitive, feel free to just hold that down very gently. You don't want to tug heavily on the eyes because that can cause some sagginess that you don't want. So there you go. There's the nude right in the lid. It just, as you can see, it just brightens everything up. Now let's move on to mascara. So everybody is different as it relates to mascara, as far as what your preferences are. I personally have short, stubby lashes, but I have a lot of them. So I don't necessarily need volume, but I need length. And so I find that I really enjoy the Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara, but a good drugstore dupe for that is the L'Oreal Unlimited, which I happen to have right here. Let me see. This is my favorite drugstore alternative. It is L'Oreal Unlimited Mascara. The wands are identical. The formula is pretty much identical. I believe they're a dupe for one another, but I think someone may have already found that dupe. So now I have to tell you a little bit about my eyes before I move on. So in looking straight ahead, now on this eye, you can see a sliver of my lid, but on this eye, this lid seems to droop a little bit more. And as a result, it weighs down on my lashes. So I find these lashes are a little bit longer and more naturally curved, whereas the lashes on this side come kind of out with a slight bend. So what I do is I do not curl these lashes, however I curl these lashes. And that's the tip the next tip that I want to talk about is you've got to do what's right for your eyes. If a look looks terrific on someone, it may not look the same on you. You have to obviously have fun, experiment, and try it out. And if you like it, great. And if not, then you know it's just, you have to do what's right for your eye shape. Now, as I said, if you have crepey eyes, you don't want to bring your shadow under, like if you have some crepiness and sagginess here under your eyes, you don't want to bring that shadow farther down. Like a lot of times on my brides, I do smoke it out a little under there. However, you don't want to do that because what it can do is it can get caught in that crepey skin and it can look like a shadow under there, which you don't want. You want it to be nice and bright under the eye. So I just stick with right under the lash line as far as applying the shadow under there. Okay, let's move on to mascara. Now, curling your lashes. If your lashes are pretty uniform in both eyes, go ahead and curl your lashes, because what you want to do is you want to lift them and always lift them up, and it gives your eyes more of a wide awake appearance. So I'm just gonna curl the lashes on this eye only, as I said, because the lashes on my right eye, just in for whatever reason, are more naturally curled. And I do middle, inner, and outer because I really want those lashes to be curled. And I like really push this a few times to really get those curled. Okay, moving on to mascara. Now, what you want to do is 2 coats. If you build up mascara too much on mature lashes, it looks clumpy quickly and it can weigh heavy on your lids, which would give the appearance of droopiness. So stick to 2 coats. And I'm going to show you some tips on applying mascara. And some of these are well known, some of them you might not have thought of. So to start on this side, what I do is I start just going in and coating, running it through the lashes. No wiggles, no jiggles, just to get a base coat like this. As I said, I have a lot of lashes, so I don't need to necessarily wiggle the wand. I do it though, periodically. Oh, darn. Don't worry if you get a spot of mascara while you're applying. Wait till it dries and then you can just flake it right off. Okay, so I've got sort of a little bit of a base coat there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little wiggle. And I'm not doing it necessarily at the very base. I'm going up a little farther. And what that does is it helps to distribute the mascara through the length of the lashes. Then don't forget the tops of your lashes. Take your wand and go right down over the tops of your lashes and then up again. There we go. That's 2 coats of mascara. And that's really all you need. Okay? Let's go in and do the second eye. Now, as far as the mascara formula is concerned, I prefer a more wet formula. A lot of mascaras that you can find in the drugstore or high-end can be somewhat thick. And then for me, it takes too long to coat my lashes. I want a thinner formula that just glides right through my lashes. So let's go on now to the lashes that I curled. And again, I'm just sweeping it through, not wiggling it for my first coat. And yes, I'm getting a lot of transfer. For whatever reason, I can't apply mascara to myself without making a mess. Others, I do it beautifully and neatly when I am working on clients, but oh my goodness, on myself, I make a mess. So I'm just sweeping that mascara through, no wiggles again. Okay. Just giving the lashes an initial coat. All right, and I'm going in for coat number 2. And I like to dip my wand in and then sort of wiggle it like this. If you brush it on the top, all that mascara gets coated around. And so what you want to do is just kind of use the circle, the entrance here, and just get any excess off like this. I go in a circular motion. Now we're going in. Again, we're going to do a little wiggle. And again, I'm not doing it at the very base of the lashes. I'm going up a little farther because I want to make these lashes look longer. And again, as I said, don't forget the tops of your lashes. Like so. There you go. 2 coats on each eye. Then with whatever's left on the wand, I'm just going to use underneath on these lower lashes. And then what we're going to do is I'll take a minute and clean up my mess before we move on. Again, not even putting the wand in the container again, just using what's on the wand. Okay. So then what I do is I take a Q-tip and starting on this side, I've got this little bit right there. And see how that flakes off once it dries? Okay. Then over here, I have a little right here That flakes right off. And then I have a little right there. There you go. There you go. So that's the eyes. Again, just keep in mind, if you have droopy or crepey lids, make sure to lift that lid and then close your eyes and go in a downward motion. When applying shadow, make sure you're doing it in an upward motion. Same with the arch of your brows. You want to make sure they're up, because what that does is that brings, you know, it makes the eyes seem larger. Now, that's the eyes. So that was how to do makeup on mature eyes. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Please give this video a thumbs up and let me know if you liked this video. My next video is going to be talking about complexion. And I'm going to be doing just my base makeup. My eyes and my lips will be done in that video. And then we'll do the complexion products in the next video. And I'll show you some great tips that I have on how to apply. And so that it doesn't exaggerate any lines and wrinkles or droopy skin. That's going to be another good one. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're advised of all my future uploads. And leave me a comment down below and let me know if this was helpful to you. And also leave me a comment on what other tips and tricks you want me to talk about in my videos. I'd be happy to accommodate you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.